Greetings, everybody. DFG here.
Jonathan Spates.
Gideon's Flight. Hey, guys. The last time we spoke, we had a little brief conversation. I guess we can call it brief, Jonathan.
Yeah.
In regards to the economy,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about be careful that that we did not drink the proverbial Kool-Aid. All right, and the proverbial Kool-Aid is not a good thing, guys. I mean, what we're simply saying is that it's the manipulation that people will use to seduce people into believing something to be true when it is not true.
Right.
So when we say don't drink the Kool-Aid, that's what we mean by don't drink the Kool-Aid. And we were talking about the economy as it relates to jobs. We were talking about manufacturing jobs in China. We were talking about the president, who's been reassuring everybody for the last 2 years that he was bringing, manufacturing jobs back, to America. But lo and behold, we just found out some news about General Motors, right, Jonathan?
What is it? They're closing 5 factories?
Five plants.
14,000 jobs are going to be lost?
That's correct. 14,000 jobs. And that's not even counting the ancillary jobs for companies who maybe sold different things, to General Motors, like part suppliers, administrative people, all those subsidiary businesses that tie in with that. And so, and we bring this to your attention just so that, again, that we are saying that this is time to be very frugal. You need to take and look at your resources because now you got, to your point, John, you got 14,700 plus people who probably were planning to retire, who probably are at risk of losing their homes, probably at risk of losing their automobiles. If they have kids who they were planning to send to college, maybe to get college loans because they could afford it based off of their income.
Right.
All of that stuff is done now. All that's gone for those people.
And just think about the commitment aspect of it. Some of these people probably been with this place for 20, 30 years and invested their whole life with a job that they're thinking that they're all set in, and then it's all gone.
Yeah, it's all gone. Yeah, healthcare.
Yeah,
because that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Retirement. To what you're saying.
Pensions, anything.
Pensions, all those things. Yeah, and that's the situation. And and let me give you some additional insight on that. Now, General Motors.
Yeah.
General Motors. Now, this is a company, if you remember, guys, about 12 years ago, they got a stimulus package.
Yeah. Mr. Obama, thank you.
Mr. Obama. And I'm glad you bring that up because, people are saying, well, this is because of tariffs and Donald Trump, put these tariffs on China. Bullshit. That is absolutely not true. Because there was no tariffs on China back in, 2008, and before when these companies crashed. And the automotive industry was one of them. General Motors got $50 billion subsidy. $50 billion welfare check is what they got. Of our tax dollars and your tax dollars. Yep. So they got $50 billion in welfare to keep them afloat with no expectations around how to repay that money back. Isn't that some great? As Obama said, no strings attached. Right. And there are people. And the reason I bring this to your attention, and again, I don't have any horse in this political race as it relates to the presidents that are selected by those who select presidents. So there's no sense for me to get worked up one way or the other.
Right.
Every president is going to do what his bosses tell him or her. Well, no, her. Going to tell him to do.
Absolutely.
If he wants to remain in job and want to live to see his whole term out. That might, I ain't taking that back. That's what I believe, all right? But anyway, with no strings attached.
Right.
So when Obama bailed them out, gave them that $50 billion, no strings attached, had nothing to do with tariffs. So you can't put this just solely on Trump, right? You can't put, and it was Bill Clinton who started NAFTA, North American Trade, I think Freedom Act or something like that. I think is how it works, meaning that you could do business anywhere around the world.
Right.
Kind of, no borders. Funny, now we want to put up a wall, but when Clinton was in office, we don't want any borders. Killed your jobs. Killed all these manufacturing jobs because now these corporations can go to Mexico, China, anywhere else, and without any type of penalties or fines put upon them. Yeah. So good job, Bill.
And Obama.
Oh, good job, Obama. Thank you very, very damn much. I'm sure all 14,700 people are thanking you for making these executives with these damn companies super duper rich.
What do you think the reason was behind that, Pat?
The stimulus?
No. Why they're shutting down all these businesses?
I think that, first of all, from a labor standpoint, it's cheaper to build them around the world because you can use slave labor.
Absolutely.
You got people in Mexico working on, pennies on a dollar.
Yeah.
In China, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? So then you don't have any type of restrictions in terms of the environmental restrictions are very, very limited. So
even safety.
That's what I mean. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So if they can pretty much do whatever hell they want to do in those countries, as long as they're providing jobs. In a lot of those countries, I'm not saying all those countries are that way, but most of them are very, very lax when it comes down to federal mandated restrictions.
Right.
We were talking about pollution, earlier about with climate control and what companies that were contributing to the overall environment.
Right.
As far as pollution is concerned, and I was telling Jonathan and I were talking about it, and I'm sure most of the people, our listening audience, probably already know this, but China represents about 30% of the world's pollution. China does. Mm-hmm. A lot of pollution that's in China comes to the United States. The wind blows it over from China, and so a lot of smog and things like that you see in California and places like that. A lot of the trash that comes on the beach, that stuff is coming from China. So unless you're going to put up some kind of wall, you know what I'm saying, or something where
yeah, I know ocean.
Unless you know a way to do that. Unless you know a way to do that. I'll probably go somewhere else and leave it alone. Unless you know a way to take and wall it off, we up the creek without a paddle, even as regards to that. Right. But back to the limitations and the restrictions, that are involved. I think that's a real big reason. They don't have to pay any, the pay is low, slave wages, what we would call them here in America. So they don't want to pay Americans to do that work. Probably one of the reasons why you're dealing with some of these other issues as it relates to immigration and, bringing in low-skilled people, who to do these jobs that, most Americans wouldn't mind doing, but they want to make more than $10 an hour to do it. So that's a part of it. And here's the other irony of it, how ironic it is. So we bailed those corporations out.
They're bailing on us.
And they're bailing out on us. Isn't that sad? That's sad.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Donald Trump put in a policy from a tax credit that General Motors last year got $500 million tax credits, plus another $600 million in grants, government grants to do the work for the government.
How are they getting grants?
So that's another $1 billion on top of that $50 billion. And I think GM, now you can check this for yourselves, guys. Last year their profit. Show you how they don't, because they don't give a damn about the people. Corporate.
Say it. Say it.
Whenever you start talking about profitability in corporation, people say, well, businesses are in business to make money. I understand that.
Right.
But that doesn't make it right.
Right.
I mean, I understand that you need to make some money. But you should not be in business just to make money. You should be in business to make sure everybody's in business with you of making money too.
Right.
Those are the people who are your labor force.
Right.
You should respect them. You should have good health care packages, good incentive packages for them, good retirement plans for them. You should take good care of those people because your number one resource are your people resources. Right. There's no greater resource. And you young leaders out here, take it from me when I tell you that. Your number one resource is your people. And everything else, you take people first, profit will follow.
Absolutely.
But most of these corporations, at the end of the day, they don't give a damn about their people anymore. All they care about is enriching their shareholders and themselves. I'll give you an idea. General Motors last year, $6 billion in profit. The GM of General Manager, of General Manager. Guess how much money he made last year?
$100 million?
$22 million. $22 million. That equates to $60,000 a day. $60,000 a day. And yet 15,000 people, are going to lose their job.
So he's getting the average salary of the average worker.
Yeah, in one day. In one day. And I'm sure we're not talking about stock options and that golden parachute he's going to get if they ever close down the business altogether.
And they're getting tax release.
And tax relief. But you ask for any kind of government subsidy, and you old lazy welfare grabbing, money hungry, lazy, shiftless, poor, white trash or ghetto welfare queen.
Right.
Ridiculous. So when you're looking at this situation, it really is. It's sad. It's very, very disappointing. You follow me? Can you imagine if you're one of those 15,000 around that number of employees who now have to go through this so-called, well, it's not so-called, this holiday season, and anything else that they had planned probably in the foreseeable future. Now all of that shifts. And And again, some of these people could be homeless, Jonathan,
Yeah.
before this all said and done. And what is the president doing? Still continuing with this silliness.
Mm-hmm.
Still giving people this illusion, this mirage. They were asking them, I saw in the interview yesterday, they were asking them about General Motors and, they shouldn't have closed and they better do something. They said, well, what? He said, I don't know what it is, but they better come up with something.
They ain't going to do nothing.
But think, what kind of answer is that?
Right.
From the executive, office of the most powerful nation in the world. Your answer is they better come up with something. And when we ask you what, I don't know, but they better come up with something.
Nobody has the answer.
Because there is no answer.
Right.
The economy is where the economy is. Another thing, too, while we're talking about this, the stock market. Remember how we talking about how great the stock market was?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you had money in the stock market and you're investors, you know what I'm talking about. Let's just say, I'm going to give you a round number off. If you started off the year with $500 invested, this was a low number, I get it. Now let's just say your investment increased by 100%. That would be 500. So it went from 500 to 1,000.
Right.
If you stayed in the market all year long, guess what your net profit is today?
$500.
Zero. It's all the way back down to where it started, and probably getting worse.
Right.
So in my opinion, might want to take your money and put it somewhere else. I don't know. We talked about sticking it under the mattress or something. I don't know. Buying gold, doing something with it. But I'm telling you, in the stock market, it wouldn't be me. It just wouldn't be me. It's your money. If you want the executives to run off with it, like they did the last time, 2008, I guess you can.
What's our reward for going all out for these companies? Like, they're taking money out of our pockets, but ain't giving nothing back.
I think at the end of the day, they don't care.
Right.
And so it's like being in a bad marriage. If there's no love in the marriage,
mm-hmm.
nobody gives a shit about what's
mm-hmm.
going to happen to the children.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, in a society that's built on capitalism and only capitalism, to the point where making a profit is more important than taking care of your people,
mm-hmm.
then there is no hope for the people.
And we shouldn't support these businesses.
We shouldn't support them. You follow me? We should not support them. You follow me? And whether that, there are other kind of programs out there. I know back in the day, that's what made labor unions so strong, because people were tired of corporations just taking
mm-hmm.
advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, my feelings about, everybody, if you can afford representation and someone to speak on your behalf or work together in groups to demand getting things that you deserve to have, you should be a part of that.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that we do at Gideon's Flight. We have think tanks where we come together and we talk about things and try to sort out things and kind of strategize, not only for immediate future, but long-term future,
Absolutely.
As well. But, not to be the bearers of bad news. It's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sense to give the illusion that all is well when it isn't well. You follow me? If you're in a bad marriage, again, you can say, well, I know one day we'll work it out. Not if y'all don't figure out how to do something different, you won't.
Absolutely.
So whether that's counseling or, what I'm saying,
mm-hmm.
or going to some type of, marriage retreat place where y'all can kind of get back on the same, you got to do something.
Right.
Same thing with America. Same thing with the economy.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? If nothing changes, everything stays the same.
Absolutely.
And at the rate that it's going right now, future is not bright.
No.
That's right. I don't care what Donald Trump or anybody else says. But I do want to say this again. People going around blaming, saying this is all about Donald Trump and these terrorists. God, that's smoke and mirror. That's smoke screen stuff. That's to get you off the real issue. This is about corporate greed.
Right.
At the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Shareholder greed. No matter how much money. If General Motors made $6 billion last year, you follow me? And let me say this other thing too while we got a little bit, almost a minute left. If this country wanted to solve this poverty issue in America, last year we spent $700 billion on military industrial complex. That's weaponry to kill. $700 billion. At the peak of the Iraq War, we spent $500 billion. So that's $200 billion additional money. $200 billion would end poverty in America, and it would end homelessness in America. Just that $200, we could still put $500 billion in killing machines mm-hmm. and take care of everybody in this country, including those workers for GM, who are probably going to find out that 6-month unemployment is not going to help them stretch very long.
No.
So, we can go on, John.
Yeah, we could go on.
But we got to wrap it up. What's the plan? I don't know. We'll be thinking, though.
Yeah.
And as always, we'll share those thoughts with you.
Support those that support you.
That's right. At the end of the day. Take care of me. I take care of you.
Absolutely.
Peace. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Get your flight. Share the video, guys. Talk to you later.